Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I want to talk to you about how do you chart a certain path in the world that is surrounded by uncertainty.
The real question is this: as a business, as an investor, as someone whose success lies in getting in front of the right people, people who will do business with us, how do we break through obscurity? How do we break through the noise? How do we showcase our message, our opportunities, and our offers in front of the right people? That is the question, and this show has the answer. My name is Raza Aziz. Welcome to The Bold Entrepreneur.
So, you don't have to go very far to realize what's really going on in the world. I mean, you pull up your Twitter, you pull up the news channels, whatever it is that you're following for your broadcasts, and you will notice, we're talking about the uncertainties in the world, the corporate restructuring, the doom and gloom, the recession, the economy, the tectonic plates shifting at the earth core, the earthquakes and all of that stuff. And living in the world, and I was speaking to a client earlier, and I remember something coming out of my mouth. It was, we live in a world, we're raising our kids in a world where the future that they're growing into doesn't exist yet, right? So we're raising our kids for a future that doesn't exist yet. And living in this amount of uncertainty, how do you go about, creating a path of certainty? This seems to be the conversation that, at least the amount of time that I've been in this industry and having conversations with people who want to change and people who want to chart a course out of the norm, this conversation has been going on. And in this video, what I want to do is I want to share with you a few maybe ideas, some insights that I've learned from my mentors that I've applied in my life. And I want to share them with you. And maybe you too can use it to challenge the status quo, challenge your circumstances, challenge the norms that have been dictated for you, whether that be in your personal life or your professional life, whether that be in a job that you have or an entrepreneurial career that you have established for yourself. So that's what I want to talk about. So I'm sure you agree with me by now that that there is no creating, there is no challenging the status quo inside of comfort, right? Um, I think you can read any of the documentaries, you can read any of the books, you can watch movies of the people that you admire, and at some point in their life, they had to let go of the comfort in their life. And I find that one of the biggest challenges for people is they want to leap into a new direction, a new career, or a new job, or something new that they want to do, but they're not wanting to let go of the the comfort. And it seems like that anybody who accomplishes any degree of success in anything, they have to let go of the comfort in one way, shape, or form, right? And I remember I mean, even for my own self, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like I'm talking about, getting out of your comfort zone and leaping into the uncertainty because I was just like this. No, I'm a human too. And it just seems like humans have this knack, or human psychology is designed that we want to be able to control everything in our environment. Our past, we want to have the predictability of the past to walk into our future. And that's how we will have peace of mind. And that's how we like to do things. But I think if you're watching this video, you're probably at a point right now that you realize that that is not how you chart a new path for yourself and your family. This is not the way that you are going to create growth. If you realize that a growth personality, or you need to grow to the next level, that you need to do that, that you cannot do that in a comfortable spot. Would you agree with me? Right? So if that's the case, and we can take history of men and women who went out and challenged the status quo, that they learned to be uncomfortable with the uncertainty. That just absolutely does not make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense for most people, right? That is why only few unplug from the status quo and the regular, rat race, to be ultimately going and charting a new course. So number one is you need to learn to become uncomfortable with the uncertainty, because that will always exist, right? And of course, when you go down the path, it's like, okay, I gotta leave the comfort to go towards creating a new path. Well, then the next thing that comes into play is the risk. You, I know I had to learn to take risks, and the biggest challenge with risk is there is no guarantee of success. And I love when people get on the phone with me, and whether they are starting a new business, whether they are an existing business and they're looking to insert some new strategy into their business. I love how people always look for a guarantee of success. And the world that we live in, there's really no guarantee of success. There's no guarantee that I'll be around tomorrow, right? There's no guarantee that the way things are, they're not just going to change within a matter of like a day or a month. I mean, we saw that during the pandemic ourselves, like how the world changed completely. So risk requires us to, yes, the first condition is that we have to let go of the comfort, and we have to take a leap. And then now we're taking a risk. And when we're taking a risk, looking at a guarantee of success is just a completely flawed measure of our action. And I hope this makes sense to you, because take anything. I mean, are there restaurants that are successful? Yes. People who go out and want to, risk their savings and start up a restaurant and everything like that, are they guaranteed success? Well, not necessarily. I mean, because I know of a lot of restaurants that have failed, right? So there are restaurants that have succeeded. There are restaurants that have failed. Okay. Let's just say I'm going into real estate investing. Well, is there a guarantee of success? Well, I mean, there are people who have succeeded and there are people who have failed at it, right? So, okay, so that's that. So there's always two sides to everything. Whether you want to talk about building a business online, are there people who have succeeded at it? Yes. Are there people who have failed at it? Yes. Right. Let's talk about, whether you want to write your own book, you want to become an author. Are there people who have established great businesses using their books? Absolutely. Are there people who have not done anything? Yes, absolutely. Right. So there's always two sides to anything that you are going to go into. And one of the biggest mistakes that new entrepreneurs make is, they attend some webinar, they attend some presentation, they listen to somebody, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing since sliced bread, right? So my recommendation to new entrepreneurs is always do your research. Look at a few things and look at, yes, everything works. There's nobody out there who maybe, most people are not lying out there about the platforms, whether they're talking about Amazon and whether they're talking about affiliate marketing, whether they're talking about buying existing businesses, whether they're talking about starting your coaching and consulting business. No, all these platforms work, but you really have to see where you are at and what are you willing to do to put in the strategies that are being shown to you to work. And number two is, what are the skills needed to develop? What skills do you need to develop in order to get the kind of result that those presentations or those platforms are talking about? right? Because chances are that a lot of times when you're going to step into something new, there are going to be skills that you need to develop. And that sometimes is not even part of the measure of many people who are looking at starting something new. So, so you want to you want to make sure that you do your due diligence. Do most of these things work? Absolutely. Is it right for you where you are at in your life right now and the journey that you're about to take? Is it something that you have been looking for? You know, you want to make a list of, you want to have 3 to 5 criterias that you look at to measure something with. This is how much time I can spend. These are the skills that I already have. I would love to use them. And these are the skills that I need to develop, right? What kind of monetary investment are you looking to put in play? What kind of time investment, and so on and so forth. Like, you want to have a few criterias that you have established, and then when you come across something, you measure those that criteria, you match it up with the opportunity that you have in front of you. Okay. Now, whether that be starting a new business, whether that be starting a new job, whether that be starting a new investment, it doesn't matter what it is, right? You want to have that criteria. Okay. So we talked about letting go of the comfort zone. We talked about taking risks. We talked about not necessarily looking for a guarantee of success, but having a few criteria in your arsenal that you look at. It's like, okay, what is required of me in this arena, right? What kind of time, what kind of monetary investment, what kind of skills, what kind of, what kind of habits do I need to establish? And here's the other thing. Now, when you move out and you take a risk, and I talked about that you're not looking for a guarantee of success, well, then there is a big possibility of failure. Now, I came across this quote. I wrote it down. Let me just see. So Dr. Martin Seligman. I might have butchered. Sorry, Dr. Martin. So here's the thing: that are there chances of failing at something that you do? Yes, absolutely. And learning to be okay with setbacks and challenges and failures is something that change makers have to develop inside of them. And it is a learned skill. You're not born with it. Because quite frankly, our families, the way our parents, our school system, the way we grew up, taught us to not fail, because failing was bad. Well, compared to the real world, the people who create the most amount of success are the people who have not only just learned to fail, but they have learned to fail fast. And they have a mindset that, hey, listen, if I have to fail at this thing, instead of waiting 6 months, let it be next week, right? If this particular investment is not going to work out, let it be like now instead of a year from now. Because here's what Dr. Martin said. It's not, let me read this, okay? It's not our failures that determine our future success. So it's not our failures that determine our future success. It's how we explain these failures to ourselves. That what charts the path. Now, do you get it? You see, a lot of people, when they fail or they have a setback at something, they make it mean something about themselves, about that I'm not good enough, I suck at this, and all of that stuff. And they revert, and this is inexperienced talking, they revert to self-sabotage. They revert to beating themselves up. And my invitation to you is actually that's not the way for leveraging failure for success. You want to take your setbacks and failures and explain it to yourself as a learning experience for yourself, and then move forward. You see, let me read this quote again. It's not our failures that determine our future success. It's how we explain them to ourselves. And that's my message to you, to make sure that you've got the right context around setbacks and failures and learn from them and move forward. Instead of getting to the point, it's like, I just suck at this. Well, yeah, you just suck at this for now, right? And I love what Simon Sinek, I remember watching one of his videos, he said, that you want to simply add one word to the things that are negative connotations in your head. Let's just say that, I'm saying that I'm not good with videos or creating videos. Well, I just want to add the word yet at the end. I'm not good at creating videos yet. All of a sudden, it's a different shift in our thinking. And you want to understand the power of language that you use as part of your success journey. And this is my message to you all, that listen, stop looking for certainty in an uncertain world. There's nothing that is absolutely certain. You are going to have to learn. Remember, I'm using the word learn because we're not necessarily born with it. You're going to have to learn to get comfortable with being uncertain or jumping into uncertainty. You're going to have to learn to get comfortable. This is how confidence is built, by the way, as well. Okay? This is by doing stuff. This is by leaping out there and making it happen. And not everything is going to work out. Number two, you are going to have to take risks. Risk of your time, risk of your safety. You have to let go of where you are in order to achieve something. There is a price to pay. There is a price to pay. There always will be a price to pay. There is a price to pay for you to stay in your comfort, and there is a price to pay for you to leave your comfort zone, right? Which price are you willing to pay? What is important to you? What do you value most? That's ultimately for you to answer. So you're going to have to risk, stop looking for guarantee of success, because guess what? Then the next thing is you're going to have to learn to give a different context to failures. And failures are inevitable part of your journey. If you are looking for success, the flip side of the coin, it's the same coin. The flip side of the coin is failure or setbacks and obstacles, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's two sides of the same coin. And you're going to notice example after example of people, whether you take that example of people in sports, whether you take them in business, whether they're heads of companies or CEOs, you take it. They have failed more than they have succeeded. But those little successes are worth all of the failures. Okay? I hope this gave you value today. Let me know in the comments, what are you taking? What is the one thing that you're taking away from this video and applying it in your life? Have a good one. Bye.